3, 2, 1, go. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another vlog, 3D vlog. This is an older character I made a good while ago, and I have been decimating him down because I want to get to a much smaller size. And actually, everything is looking pretty small now. He was like maybe like 2 million vertices. He was a lot of vertices. But what I want to do now is, since I have a new way of doing eyes, I don't have to draw the eyes on the surface. I really want to redo his eyes in the new way that I do eyes. Details, creases. I don't even know what that is. Is this like a layer? Oh, there are a lot of layers. Anyway, so I think I want to solo his eyes so I can just take a good look at them and see like the shape that they are. Let's turn post-process off and turn this down. His eyes are looking crazy. All right, so let's make some new eyes. Whoops. It all comes down to the sphere. Where is it? So I'm hoping that when I make this sphere, that I can just use the whole sphere, you know, for the eyes. So that actually might be useful. That actually might be very useful. Just make sure if I put this eye, if I make the eye on this sphere, that it can cover the whole eye. I think that would work just fine, actually. I think that would work just fine, and I could probably use it for both. Yeah, I think that would be fine. Okay, and I might do some lower lids on that as well. So I think that's a good size for the eye. You know what? I'm just going to do it up above a little bit. And also notice I have to change the speed of how everything moves, but I adjusted the gizmo and I unchecked compact, and then I changed the thickness of it, so it's a lot thinner now. So we're gonna see how that works, if it's a little bit easier to work with or not. All right, so for the eye, it shouldn't matter where I put it, because we can always like spin the eyeball. So let's just use front. I'm gonna put this all the way on the top. So this will be, we'll just do eye for now. And we'll validate it. So I'm gonna clone it, and this will be IX. So I'm doing IX because we're gonna use a Boolean operation to make the actual like bit of the eye that goes into the other eye. That doesn't make any sense. Basically, we're gonna use this sphere to create negative space in the bigger sphere. It's probably a little more accurate. Whoa. I think it's this thing I need to get rid of. That might make it a little bit easier. Trackball. I wonder if I can slow this down. Translation? I don't even know what that is. I guess I'll just leave these where they are because I really don't know. I don't want to mess everything up. Okay, so I think this might be pretty good. The only thing that we need to do now is, so we have the eye, we have the IX, and this would actually make a good pupil. So I'm going to clone IX and name it pupil. So we're using the sphere over and over again to get to the result that we want. The pupil I'm going to hide. So now it's a bit difficult to check to make sure that it's the right size, because we're going to add another duplicate of the sphere and as a refraction, and we're going to put that around the whole thing. So the eye will be a little bit refracted, so I still have to kind of get used to the size that it looks. And there's another trick that I'm thinking about doing. So I want to paint this eye white, the base eye. So I want to paint it white, and it doesn't really need to be, I'll leave it rough. So I want to paint that white, and I'm thinking that I might paint this black, because when we do the Boolean operation, if I paint this black, it's going to leave a black area where we cut it out. So I think that might be useful. So I'm going to go full black for IX. I think that might be what we need to do. So let me just save. I'll save as. So now I think we can just go ahead and do a Boolean operation. So we'll take the I and the IX, and we will voxel remesh them. I'll do it pretty high because I'm going to paint on this. So I'll do it pretty high, 450. Let me make sure that I uncheck IX or un-eyeball it. Okay, and then we'll voxel merge them, and this should leave us with this black spot. That's exactly what we wanted. The only thing that I don't like is we have these ribs now. So the reason why, hopefully, I don't know if you can see them, but it made all these little grids. So the reason why that's there is because I need to go to the multi-res and subdivide this first. So I'll subdivide it twice, and then we can do the same thing. So we'll voxel remesh at the same number. I just needed to add more vertices to the sphere. So when I add more vertices, then I can do the voxel merge, and it won't give me those marks. This is really slow. What happened? Oh. There we go. Okay, and this actually isn't as clean as I would have wanted it, but that's all right. So if I just tap front, oh, it's a little off, isn't it? Oh, am I in perspective? I want to be in orthographic. Okay, that could have been the issue. I want to add a layer on top. So we should be able to paint on this layer. So if we grab some paint, yeah, we can paint on this layer. So now what we need to do is just draw the color of the eye. So I think his eye was, let's bring this down a little bit into the light. So his eye's like a nice like brown, auburn brown color, light hazel brown color. I think it's something like this. Yeah, that feels about right. So we want to make sure that we're on this new layer, and we're gonna, let's call this, or let's just call it hazel. So we have our hazel color, and now we just need the right brush. So I've cloned my paintbrush, and the only difference in the setting in this paint is the fall off is flat, grab dynamic radius. I think that's it. Yeah, I think everything else is normal. So now when we paint with paint circle, it paints in a circle. But we don't want it like this. We don't want the fall off to be flat. I want to make the fall off nice and blended. So I will change the fall off to something like this. And this will make it nice and blended. And I want to show the symmetry line. That way, I have like a guide to know what the exact center is. Now I can pull this off and I'll know that it's going to be perfect. We'll do another one. I think that looks good. And let's bring back the pupil, which is let's bring that forward. Where's my gizmo? Where is it? Oh, it's up there. So I'm going to move origin. And then I will paint it all black, but I want to do it so it's nice and glossy. And I want to change this light that I'm using. I want to change this environment. Let's change this environment to one of my normal environments. And this environment is actually on my Gumroad. I use it all the time. I think it looks great. Let's take a look at his other eyes. So his pupils are really big there. So we'll make them kind of big here. But we want to make sure that this is right in the center. Actually, I didn't want to move it left and right. I shouldn't have to move it left and right, just up and down. So I think that's good. So now we'll move it into the eye like this. Okay. And the only other thing that I forgot to do, I'm forgetting to do a lot actually. But I don't think it matters that much. So I'm going to create another sphere. I'm going to move it up. I'm going to shrink it. And this would have been much easier if I were to have just duplicated the eye and saved it for later. But I didn't, because I'm a dum-dum. But this should work. That should work perfectly. And I'll just do it a little bit more. Make it a little bigger. All right, so that actually should work. If anything, I might have to make it a little bit bigger. And that would be okay too. Yeah, we'll make it a smidge bigger. So let's change this one to refraction. We'll change the index of refraction down some. We'll turn up the reflectance, paint glossy, absorption, and then we'll go to white. And I think that's it. Okay, now the pupil, his pupil is a little bit wider, so let's just see. And I feel like the eyeball itself is a little bit wider, although it's kind of hard to tell. But if we need to make the pupil bigger, we can just, whoops. We can just make this larger. And also, let's add a little bit of lightness to the eye on the hazel layer. We'll just add a little bit of lightness. So let's do paint circle. I'll start in the middle. Oh, you know, I forgot to set the fall off to back to here. There we go. And it's very subtle, but it makes a big difference. You know, it's just like, it's these details that really, they really make it. And you know me, I love some fine details. All right, and we can actually use smudge. You can use smudge to, you can go like this if you want to get some variation. Although it's not varying much. It should be. Can't really even see it doing much. So let's try, let's see, we have crease and we have layer. I think crease, but subbed. Let's see what that does. And let's turn the, I don't really need it to be too glossy. Let's see what this does. Ooh. And let's get rid of the sphere. So we'll call this corn for cornea. And we might be able to lower the subdivision on it. Ooh, no. So you know what we'll do? We'll just validate it. We'll do one round all. And then we will, let's decimate it and see if we can get a little bit better than what they offered us. It starts to get a little crazy back there. But I think we can just make it bigger. Yeah. Okay. So I think that's it's a decent, looks like a decent replacement so far. I still want to play around with the eye. Let's make a new layer above. And let's get rid of the cornea so we can actually see what we're working with. Because I think that's what was happening before. I thought I was coloring on one place. I thought I was smudging one place, and I was smudging a different place. So for example, now when I look at the hazel layer, it probably will work. Yeah, it works much better. I can see that something is happening. It's not working well, but it's working. So let's take crease with sub. Make it really small. So then we can just kind of make some squiggles. And maybe we'll just kind of smooth them out a little bit, so they look a little bit more natural. We'll smooth out the ends. Okay, and now let's try crease, but with sub. And let's make the color darker. So now let's see if we can we'll just create some little dark. Because I kind of like the whole, you know, one is lighter and one is darker. That's always going to make that's always going to be very appealing to the eye when you have the light next to the dark. So let's go ahead and still smooth some of these out. Okay, I think that looks good. So I think that's a decent amount of detail. The only other thing that I wanted to see if I could maybe blur this a little bit. So let's take smooth color. We'll bring it down really small. And let's actually turn on X or Z radius as well. Although I don't know why it's not showing Z. It should be showing Z as well. Oh, you know what? It's not the right one. Okay, let's try this. It'd be nice if it turned symmetry on. Okay, so it's a little bit blurry, but I think that might be nice. All right, let's turn corn back on. That makes the eye a little bit bigger, but I think that looks good. And now, so we have the eye, we have the pupil, and I think I might just want to bake. I think it might be worth it to join these two. So then we just have the eye. So I'm gonna do a bake. So I'm gonna clone the eye. I'm gonna decimate it. Till it's really small. I think 562 looks okay. And now I'll unwrap it. And then resolution is all the way up, so then we'll just bake it from there. Oh, it didn't really, it made it all weird. It's very strange. So that's not going to work, so maybe let's back up one and see what happens. It still makes it weird. Let's back up again. That's better. It's definitely better. If we back up again, it might be perfect. I mean, it's kind of a big size, but it might be worth it. If the eyes are the biggest thing on this character, then that looks okay. Okay, so I think I'm just gonna accept this eye. It's kind of big, but I feel like it works. The only other thing that I was thinking of doing was taking the pupil out and then just baking the eyeball. But I feel like it's still, this circle still needs to be perfect. So let's get rid of the big one. This will be I1. Let's clone it, and then we have I2. So now we just need to position these in the right way. Oh, you know what? almost forgot about corn. So I'm going to clone that. And we need to connect corn to each one. There we go. I was wondering how the eye got so small. I mean, it's not a bad substitute. Okay, so maybe I'll position it and then try to move it into place. Maybe that's better. So it kind of feels like that a little bit. And you know that we might be able to even adjust the index of refraction if we feel like we want it a little bigger. So I think that looks decently similar. So let's just move it into place. I mean, it's pretty good. Okay. So I think that's decent for the first one. So now let's take the second one. Let's do the same thing. So this is looking over quite a bit. Making something like that. Okay, so I'm thinking something like that. Let's get rid of the other eyes. His eyes are looking crazy right now. So now it's just a matter of making this look decent. That's kind of creepy. I gotta put this eye in further because it's creeping me out. I don't know what I feel about this at the moment. I think I need to change the index of refraction. To 1. Oh, that's much better. My God, it was terrifying before. I was terrified. That actually looks decent. And I'm not too worried about the eye placement, or the eyelash, I mean, because I can always adjust that. Oops. I think that looks pretty good. So let's delete the eyelashes. All right. I think his eyes look okay, actually. I'm quite surprised. And I think I UV baked the eye, so I don't think there's anything I can do about that, unfortunately. The only thing that I might be able to do is pull that eye out some. It looks better when it's out a little bit. That might be my only recourse. And maybe I'll do the same with this one. I'll just pull it out a little bit more. Up a tad bit. And something feels a little off to me. I think what I'm feeling is this eye just isn't over enough. I think that's what it is. Excuse me. All right, so I think it looks pretty decent. I do want to add some eyebrows. So we'll use path, and it looks like I'll have to do them one by one, but that's okay. Is snap not on? Snap should definitely be on. Oh, that's weird. Radius. So we'll make that nice and small. We'll make this one nice and big. Okay, so we'll validate that one. Actually, before I validate, I gotta blend it in there. I forgot. It's a little harder with the refraction, makes it a little bit more difficult. So we'll validate that. I'm going to paint it black just so I can actually see what I've done. That looks okay. It's just the only thing that annoys me is this part. But unfortunately, I don't think I can do anything about that. So I don't think I can move it. Oh, I actually can move it. Wasn't sure if I could. I'm new to like the baking scene, so. It looks terrible, but it is a little bit better. But I think the better thing might be to maybe move this in a way that works. Maybe even something like that might look a little bit better. It's a little weird because of the but that might actually look better. Yeah, I think that looks a bit better. At least you don't notice it as much. So now let's make one on this side. Oops, path. Radius. And I just have some downtime because I'm like transferring and exporting and uploading the classes. So I have a little bit of downtime. I was going to go live. I still might go live. And actually, I think I have a video I can release on YouTube. And I probably should have released it before. But I thought I was going to go live, so that's the only reason I didn't. So I'll make it public now. It's Friday at 11:49 p.m. And we'll go ahead and publish it. There's probably no one's going to watch because it's a Friday night. And only me in my apartment excited about making 3D stuff on a Friday night. Let's make sure they look somewhat, yeah, they look pretty much the same. So I'll validate it, paint it black. We have a little bit of the same issue. I can paint it black now. And that's the only problem about making the cornea is that big. That's the only downside. So maybe I can just make this a little thinner. But yeah, you really can't hide it too well. And actually, this is very low compared to the other one. It's probably a little bit better. Oh, and this is bigger here. Okay, so I'll validate that. And let's smooth these. And I like to flatten, I don't know when I flip those. I like to flatten this on one side to give them that proper shape that I like. Okay, and the only thing that he might need is some eyelids, which, oh, you know an easy way to do that? So first let's clone the cornea. I'm going to bring it out. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I'll clone it and then I'll bring it out. So both of these I want to set back to opaque. Bring the reflectance down. And now I want to take the color nearest to it and paint them both that color. Wait a minute. Oh, that's right. It's baked. It's baked, so it doesn't really see it as a color. Tricksy. So I'll have to do it manually. Why only one? Why only one? Let's bring them both out a little bit. And then adjust the color so that they match. I think that's pretty good, actually. Maybe a little bit lighter, a little bit grayer. Oh, there we go. Now we're getting some, now we're cooking with gas. So I think that looks decent, or will look decent. Let's bring this one out a little bit more. So now we just have to, we'll use our ellipse with trim. Oh, trim, I always get rid of those when I use trim. Circle, centered, We don't need, it doesn't need to be circle and doesn't need to be centered. So let's try this. Okay, that's ballpark. So essentially we need to just multi-res, let's subdivide them both twice. And then we'll Vox remesh them at 250. I need to save. Okay, so now they have a little bit of strength to them. Let's try with the rectangle. Yeah, we essentially want something like that. Oops. But the only problem with this is we need to, before we do this, we'll clone both of them. Name it X. Clone this one, corn X. Okay, we can hide the X's. All right, so let's just do we'll do trim. We'll just figure out the perfect place for both. I think that looks good, actually. And now for this one. Oh, I'm doing it the wrong way. That's actually not bad. So now we'll start with this one. We'll take corn X, but corn X I want to move back. Oh no. Stupid. Corn X, I said. Corn X, I want to move back. So there's the eye. So I want to make it right about there. And maybe it needs to come out a little bit further. Yeah, I think I want it covering the whole eye. So let's do the same thing on this one. We have the corn, and then we have the corn X. So the corn X will move back. But we still want it covering the whole eye. It's the only tricky part. Okay, so it looks like it's covering the whole eye. So instead, let's bring this out a little bit. Yeah, that's better. So let's save. So now we can take the corn 2, corn 3, corn X, and then get rid of that. Get rid of that. We don't need to be on the corns for the eyes, so I don't know why I'm there. Right, so 1, 2, and then 1, 2. This is hidden, this is hidden. And we'll voxel remesh 400. There we go. Nice. And I think they're actually together. Yeah, they're actually together. So we'll rename it lids. And we can take our rounded edge and just give these the old rounded edge. And they're 166K. That's huge. So let's decimate the lids. Until they start looking too crazy. Okay, we'll do 1500. That's fine. All right, so now the next thing.
I don't understand.
I didn't say anything to you. I don't know what she's always talking to me about. Being crazy. So yeah, I think these look good. I think they look good. The only thing I wish, she needs more of a... Oh, I can't do it because I baked this. That's okay. Actually, I might be able to. Let's see. Let's see if I can use inflate on this. I really don't know. Oh no, that does not work. That does not work. So let's make him subsurface, which didn't exist when we first created this character. I love that. We'll bring it down to like 1.1. Let's make the lid subsurface. Bring it down to 0.1. These I might do dither. I might do dither and lower the opacity since they're supposed to be hairs. I'll leave that as it is. Maybe I'll do that as a subsurface. The nose, subsurface. Maybe we'll take away translucency for the nose. Teeth are definitely getting subsurfaced. Definitely subsurface. Okay, that's her. All this is already subsurface, so just the pants and stuff. Okay, so that's the new. Ooh, the eyes are a little bit wonky. I think this one has to go up a little bit. Just has to go up a little bit, I think. And why do I feel like this one's a little bit bigger? It looks okay, but there's something not perfect about the eyes. I'm gonna have to squint. Maybe it's this one. It's a little bit too far over, maybe. Feels a little bit better. The only other thing I can toy around with is maybe taking the whole eye, the lids. Let's separate the lids. Oh no, what is all that? What is all that? It's very strange. I've had this happen before, actually. I don't know what this is or why it does this. But it won't let me separate them, so I'll just split it. I'll just split them. So lid 2 is up here. Connect it. So if I take all of these, maybe it just needs to be moved over a little bit. Oh, I think that helped a lot. I wonder if I can bake this. I feel like I used to be able to bake it and this would go to like up and down. But it doesn't seem to be working that way anymore. It's just really... So I'll adjust the pivot. Alright, are we still on the eyebrow, eyelash? See if we can move it over. That feels better. That feels a lot better. All right, so I'm pretty happy with this. I got to go back to editing, so let's just close this out really quickly. Let's go back to where I had it. I think it was good. Okay, so let's bring back the plane. Let's save. And the shadows are actually quite good on this. I did a decent job with the shadows. I don't even know where this light is. I don't even know what this light is doing. This light is useless too. That actually looks good. Let's turn the environment off. Oh, that colors them a little too much. Oh, let's post-process. Global illumination. We need some shadows. We need all this stuff. I think that looks good. I guess we can go back to perspective, but it feels like it's very, felt like it was very big. Okay, not bad. Might even turn this. I don't know how to set the pivot so it can just be where I touch it. Move custom pivot on single tap. First hit. That's not it. None. That's not it. Right, middle stab. Bake. I know I used to be able to do it. I used to be able to like touch it anywhere. I like this angle, so I had this. I don't know what these views are. That looks pretty good. Quite like it. Yeah, quite like it. So let's save. And let's do a quick see what it would look like at 720. Actually, we can make it quicker. Let's turn this off. Just want to see what the frame is looking like. That's good. First process, turn that up. Turn the global illumination up a little bit. I do want to use those other lights though. It does look good, but I do want to use those other lights. It needs to have a proper edge. Let's turn the render resolution down. So this will be a little bit more manageable. It's quite nice, actually. I don't know why it won't focus though. It's so odd. I've had that happen before where I really have to figure out where to touch it to make it focus. I feel like this might need to be a little softer. So I like that. So I might even be able to clone it. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to clone it and give him something similar from this on this side. Maybe just white, maybe a little bit of warmth, but maybe just mostly white. Oh, that's nice. I like it. I just have to, I'm just worried about that edge. That's better. All right, so let's save. And let's turn this up if I need to. Yep. The environment is still off. Yeah, we'll leave the environment off. Unfortunately, that would give his eyes a nice glow, but it doesn't work for anything else. So we'll have to leave that off. And then I'll export a 4K for this video. All right, so I'll export this. It'll take a minute, but appreciate you watching. Keep drawing, keep sculpting. I'll see you all in the next video. And make sure to check out my Skillshare class. I'm going to get back to editing it. It's going to be one of those really cool isometric diorama 3D scenes. I love it. If you want to learn more, check out my classes on Skillshare. I have 2D classes and 3D classes. Be sure to check me out on social media, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all Drug-Free Dave. As always, keep drawing, keep sculpting, and I'll see you all in the next video. What's up guys, Drug-Free Dave here, and welcome to another Skillshare exclusive class. This one is called the Kawaii workshop. We're going to be working in 3D and Nomad Sculpt. I'll be using the iPad Pro 2021, but Nomad Sculpt is available on iPads and iPad Pros and Samsung tablets. So I really love making characters and doing character designs, putting them together, sculpting them, modeling them. Very cute, simple. So not only is this class all about cute characters, but it's all about making our scene and making our models with efficiency in mind. But we're going to take extra steps to make sure our poly count stays low where it should be. So we're also going to focus on composition. We're going to add a background in, and we're going to make our scene fit seamlessly with that background. And we're going to add our little characters in so it looks like that is the background scene. We're going to make it really blurry. A lot of artistic stylization coming into this class because that's how I work and that's what I love to do. This class comes with a ton of free extras. I'm going to include a whole room so you can use your characters once you finish them to populate the room. I made all of these assets, really cool assets, and I'm going to include those all with this class because it's just fun to use your characters and put them in a physical space and move them around in a physical space. Alright, so that's my pitch. That's it for this intro. I really had a great time making this class, and I'm looking forward to joining you in class so we can make some really cute little kawaii characters. Alright, so let's move on to the next video, class project. Three, two, one, go. And welcome to another Skillshare exclusive class only on Skillshare. I just said that. Nomad Sculpt. What's up, guys? Cute, simple, oversimplified things. What am I even talking about? Let me just stop this. So essentially, we're just going to take a lot of steps to make sure that So basically, we're just gonna work on a class like we. So basically, we're just gonna work on a class like we. The minimal amount of. So we're also gonna focus on competition. So this class, I don't need to say so. I'm gonna go over a lot. Kawaii workshop. I don't know if I'm gonna name it the Kawaii workshop or just Kawaii workshop. We'll see. But I'm looking forward to you joining me in class. Let me turn my phone off so it's not going off while I'm filming. This is a sample tutorial, something similar to what we do in that class. So if you like, the cat's eating and I just got distracted. The Kawaii workshop. I don't look happy at all. The Kawaii workshop.